Hey guys, good morning. So today, um, I'm working on. We're getting ready to pot plants, um, the vegetable plants. Remember the seeds I did and showed you them sprouting. Well, now you're gonna get to see them at a little bigger state. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the 3-inch pots today. First, I wanted to show you what I built. So down in my basement, which isn't very big. Matter of fact, my whole work room area, I've got my fish over that way. But my whole workroom area isn't but maybe 10 by 15. And that's where I store, that's where our downstairs pantry is and my workbench. Well, I transformed my workbench into a really nice greenhouse. These will flip down over top to, make it, keep some stability in the in the greenhouse. And then behind you or in front of me is, if I can get it moved there, sorry, is an additional one that I'm still working on. It's made of PVC pipe, and I bought my grow lights off of Amazon, and this one's made off of PVC pipe too. What I did was I made a PVC skeleton. Sorry, my floor is gravel, so it's incredibly uneven, which makes it hard to film because then I look at anyhow. So yeah, they're a PVC skeleton. What we did was we cut PVC pipe to size, made a frame out of it, and then wrapped it in a, believe it or not, this is painter's plastic. It's the plastic that just goes over the furniture and the floor. If you want, it's a clear, so that way I can at least have an idea of what's going on in there without opening it. It's not crystal clear, obviously, you can't see through it. I've got a heater down here to my right, your left. Although without it on, it stays between 68 and 72 degrees down here. And tomatoes look good at anything above 60, 65 soil wise, but peppers like a little warmer. So even though it was 70 down here, which is about the minimum you want to keep pepper soil at, soil for pepper plants at, I got a heater running, not incredibly hot. It'll bring it up to about 72, 73 degrees down here. My only other alternative to that, and keep in mind this isn't my house, would be to put a vent in one of the several ducts, piping for the heat and air conditioning, that run to, idealistically be the one that runs to the kitchen because it's right above us. And it's usually the warmest room in the house or the coolest room in the house all year round, which is awesome, especially in the summertime when we do some canning. But in order to control my temperature and humidity down here, I actually bought this when I had the fish room, but and I still use it for down here for several things, but it's a gauge that tells you what, that might have been backwards to you. I don't know. We'll find out when I watch the review. But anyhow, right now, like it says in here, it says it's 42% humidity. Lately, the highest humidity was 49%. Lowest is 37%. During the dead of winter, it'll get down to about 26% humidity down here. And it says it's 72 degrees right where I'm standing right now. And it's been averaging between 72 and 68 degrees. So, it's still good for growing. But like tonight, it's here in Ohio, well, at least in central Ohio, it's supposed to drop down into the 20s again, believe it or not, and only be a high of 36 for April 1st. One heck of an April Fool's joke. So, anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get stuff ready to do some planting. And when I get back, we'll pot some plants. All right? I'll see you here in just a few. All right, guys. So I got some plants down here. These are my bell peppers. I've got green bell peppers, red bell peppers, yellow bell peppers, and golden bell peppers. I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant them real quick. It's not hard. And each plant's a little different. Like when I, well, each type of vegetable is a little different. So like in these ones, I've got these cups. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there you go. About 3/4 full of soil, maybe half to 3/4 full, 2/3 full of soil. And it's slightly damp soil. It's not bone dry. Bone dry soil is okay, but I've always just made sure mine's damp. So like if you open up your bag, which I'm using very, yeah, I just looked at it. Vigoro. It's not horribly expensive. We've used it now for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. It's not the cheapest soil, and you want to use a good potting soil, something that's good for vegetables and flowers. There is kind of a distinction. You can go with a more expensive potting soil, but just make sure it's geared towards a vegetable if that's what you're growing. If you want, it has a little more balance and nutrients to it. It's designed for vegetables. In my case, I guess I've never had a problem with it, but when I water, which we'll talk about further, I use my fish tank water, so it gives me a little more fertilizer in it, so to speak, than need be. Although I don't really want to put too much into them quite yet. I want to wait till they get a little bit bigger before I start really pumping them full of fish nutrients and things like that. So anyhow, as you guys know from my first video, we put these into these pods. So what I'm looking at here is, see, I've got 2 plants right here. I don't really want 2 plants. So you got to kind of pick one. Which one do you believe might be the healthiest, could be the healthiest? Things I use to determine, I look at their stalks. And if you have one stalk that's, a little bigger, and both of these are actually pretty good. I could probably split this and do 2 separate ones, but I have got 204 pots to find homes for. So that's not going to happen. So what I'll do is I'll look at it. I mean, and honestly, and this is just a guess of guesses, I'm probably going to run with this one here. I could be completely wrong, and it may die in 2 weeks, but I don't know. We won't know until it happens. So then I'm going to cut this bag loose. The bag is nice. It's like a very fragile burlap. Works very well, I suppose. Now, if you see, I don't know if you can see or not, see those little white, yeah, there they are. Those are the roots for him. So it's time to, it'll keep binding, so to speak, if that's what we want it to do. How like when you buy flowers and whatnot at the store, they when you pull them out of the little plastic thing and it's all got roots all over it, it'll continue to do that. That actually had them starting to grow out. That is a sign, if you use these, that it's time to get them into something a little larger. These will be their forever home until we plant them. So I stick that about center as I can. Grab my trusty mason jar, because mason jars can be used for everything. Get a little bit of soil. And then with the pepper plants, I fill it up to, I don't cover much of the stem. And I don't pack it down. Now, remember, my soil is moist. It's not sopping wet. It's just got a little bit of water in it. And I put that down, and you're really just giving it more room to keep going. That is what you're trying to do right now. Then after I do that, a little bit of water into the pot. This just makes it so much easier when with the pods. Like I said, I've never actually used these pods before, so this is a new and interesting process for me. Any other year, I would have just, when we moved, I had about, I don't know, a bazillion of these pots. and I would just take what I needed of those pots and just plant the seeds in those and do 3 or 4 seeds in a pot and let it go. So there we are. We're filled up to about that line right there, and the soil is damp. You don't need to saturate it. All right, so I mean that's pretty much how we do it. We or how we're going to do it this year at any rate. So, like I said, we're going to just clip this. I suppose you could tear this, but I find it easier to give it a start. Pull it back. Once again, we got some roots going. That's a good thing. That means we're heading in the right direction. Oop. Try not to drop your plants. And take it off. Set it down in there like such. Take our soil. Pour it into a, like I said, you don't really want to so much cover the stem, the main part of the plant. But it maybe cover the very bottom of it when it comes to pepper plants. It'll hold its own. It'll build one great root structure. Now you're probably asking yourself, why is that leaning over? That looks kind of crazy. Well, it's leaning over because I've just kind of made it mad. So anytime you transplant a plant into new soil, it goes into shock. It's like, it's screaming, what are you doing to me? So it gets scared. It thinks something bad is happening. It doesn't realize that, it's being put into a bigger pot so it can grow big and strong and, do good things for the world. So, here in, maybe by this evening, or it may take a couple days, just like if you do aquariums, and you buy plants from, like, say, PetSmart, and they're in this tube, and they're not in water, and then you put them in your water, they melt back. They look like they're just dead. The leaves all fall off, and then it sprouts new, and because it's just getting used to its environment. It's no different than when you pot plants. It actually works exactly the same. All right, well, I've got a bunch more of these to do, and I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me pot plants all day. So, when I come back, hopefully I'll have this rack of 72 done, and maybe more of a rack, and I'll show you what it all looks like here in the little greenhouse. All right, I'll see you here in just a few. All right, well, I got almost everything planted. I still have 72 plants left to plant, and that could I don't know exactly where I'm gonna put those yet, but it's okay because they're in bigger pods. So they may actually make it to where I can just put them in the ground when those came. I was more concerned with these pods that were small because they had tomatoes and peppers in them, and they were growing quick, and roots were shooting out and all that stuff. So, but let me show you real quick what all we got. I don't know how well you can see them. The lighting down here, hold on, let me see if I can get us just a little bit better light. It likes to flare up where I use my, there we go, that's not half bad, I guess. But these are all my peppers. Got green peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, golden peppers. And then when you turn the corner, those are all Roma tomatoes all the way down. And then over here, if you can see past, although they don't look very healthy at the moment, they got a little wilted. They got dry on us quick where they were sitting upstairs, but they're still viable, still very green. But those are the cucumbers that are right there. We'll see how they turn out. If not, if they don't turn out, that's okay. It's not a great big deal. And the only reason why I say that is this is kind of the cucumbers are kind of a new thing for us. We normally we just plant the seeds straight into the ground about mid-April and let them grow straight out of the ground. This year, with us doing it at a different location, I thought I'd get ahead of the game, and they grew pretty quick being in those pods. So if they aren't viable and they don't last, I have more seeds. We can just plant straight in the ground. I'll just have to do it that way. So, but we'll see. That one's an experiment. Everything else, the peppers and the tomatoes, we've all grown, before. I have not got any of the hot peppers done yet, but like I said, they're in bigger pods. They're ginormous. So they actually may make it another month in those pods. If not, I'll transplant them and we'll find room for them. Buy some more grow lights. Or the cucumbers may not work out as well as I think they're going to, and we'll bring those down here and pot them. Either way, I know those will do okay. Like I said, cucumbers is the only new thing for me starting inside the house. And so it's more of an experimentation. And you should experiment. It's how you learn. I mean, you can read, or you can get on YouTube or whatever to do it. But there was a time in life where people just tried it out. And if it didn't work, you didn't do it again. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We'll see. All right, well, we'll keep doing small videos just to see the progress of the plants and how they're doing. Hopefully I don't kill any of them. I've never grown anything in a basement like this before, and I've never used grow lights and all that, so that's all kind of new for us. At the old house, we just had 2 big windows in the kitchen, and they sat in front of that until it was time to plant. But we'll see. So, I mean, all I got to do is, put these flaps down, and it will keep the warmth inside. And like I said, I do have a heater down here, so that way, although realistically, with the tomatoes and cucumbers and the sweet peppers, it doesn't get cold enough in this basement to do them any harm. It doesn't ever get below 68 degrees down here, so it should still be okay. And then that way we're good. But like I said, I do have a heater on down here, so it stays at least a constant 70. And then in another month, well, not even another month, another 3 weeks, I'll start hauling these bad boys outside during the day, so that way they can do what's called hardening up, which I'll show you that process, and we'll talk about it then. But it's basically just getting the plants ready to be outside. Right now, with them being inside, they're not as strong as they could be, and taking them outside during the day and then bringing them in at night for the first week, and then watching the weather forecast the second week. If it's good, you leave them out at night, and it's not going to frost. You don't want frost. Frost is not your friend in the gardening world by any means. Frost will kill everything. But anyhow, all right, I love you guys. Tell somebody else you love them. It'll make their day a whole lot better, I promise. Hope you enjoyed the video. Oh, and before I forget, if you got the opportunity to watch the building of the herb box, I apologize if that video was just horrible, because to me, even though I posted it, because I really wanted you guys to see me building the box, I know the video was not all that. There was a lot of mistakes. I couldn't get a very good camera angle to save my life. But anyhow, I apologize for nothing. I just know it was a crappy video, and if you watched it, thanks for watching it. So, love you. Tell somebody else you love them, and I will talk to you later. All right? Bye.